Hi, I'm Allison Pilling, and I am one of the co-hosts of Death Café Quinte. And I'm here to share my April 2022 event reflection. So yeah, after we have an event, usually I come on here and share some thoughts of what we discussed. Again, this is a safe, confidential space. So when I think and share these things, I look at it more as general themes, just to give people a glimpse as to what goes on at a death cafe, just in case you're curious that this type of event is for you. So yeah, in April, we actually had a large group. In total, I think we ended up with about 11 people, which was nice. Online, the size around 9 is kind of great to have everyone on the screen, sort of the Brady Bunch style. But yeah, it's really interesting. We received, I think, 8 new people RSVPing, and of those 8, 3 showed up. So I just want to acknowledge that we do recognize that sometimes attending an event like this, something where you're going to talk about death and dying, does take courage, right? We have the best intentions to support ourselves and to work through some of these things, but when the time comes to actually click join the meeting or drive your car and meet us in person, I do want to actually say and acknowledge that that does take courage. So I just want to send appreciation and gratitude to everyone that joins us. Each time I learn new and different things, different perspectives. And April was no different, right? So some of the main things that sort of came up and stuck with me personally was the concept or the discussion around the reaction of the word death. So even just hearing that word, how does that make you feel? Right? Does your body pause for a moment? Do you go into shock? Are you calm and open to that type of conversation or saying or reading or seeing that word death? What does that do for you? So we had some conversation around that. We talked a little bit about the fear of knowing what's next, right? What is next after this current life, and where does that take us? Sometimes when our loved ones pass away, we reflect on, or even people saying things like they're in a better place or they are at peace. We just had a little bit of conversation around what is next? Do any of us know? Can we get help from our loved ones? Yeah, so that was really interesting and provided some reflection. Another thing that we shared were gratitude practices. So things we do daily, weekly, monthly, whatever that is for you, where you show gratitude for yourself, for your body, for your life, for the people in your life, any of those types of things, but just the importance of gratitude. Another thing that we had covered is the concept of carrying grief, which I thought was really interesting about as the survivors, us that are still living at this moment, what we carry with us, what we feel is our responsibility to honor and remember our loved ones or to carry forward in a legacy. What is that grief that we actually physically carry with us, right, for ourselves and our loved ones? And even that concept of the question came up when will I feel free? What has to happen in my life for me to feel freedom? And sometimes when we have experienced death of loved ones, it might feel like we're carrying the world on our shoulders, right? And sometimes we don't actually see where we could experience freedom within our lives, right? So even that thought of the next time or the time that I may feel freedom, will actually be at my time of death? Yeah. So that's a big question, right? And it's different for everyone. I don't want to, I don't push any ideas or judgments in either way, but yeah, these are some big, deep questions. And again, from everyone's experiences, um, this we all have different answers to this, right? Of what that looks like for us. And again, Death Cafe is that place that you can actually have these really deep conversations and those curious questions or deep reflections. Um, the group is open to hearing them. If it's a statement or a question, if you want feedback or discussion, that's welcome as well. Another topic that came up was the importance of a will and how important that is um, as a gift, essentially, to your family. I know that we feel it's difficult to look at those documents and sit down and actually work through them. Some of the thoughts of, life continuing without us is kind of hard to digest. I get that. But I will say that even someone as a widow, I've actually been an executress of a will and an estate. And I will say, thankfully, we had wills. Thankfully, my husband had a will. It just helps your family move through some of the paperwork, to close bank accounts, and to act on your behalf. Without doing that additional step with getting permission legally to be able to do those actions, having a will in place actually gives that person legal authority to make some of those decisions on your behalf once you've passed away. So just the importance of a will and how that impacts your loved ones. And then we actually had a few laughs. We had a few laughs around division of assets, right? And what has happened within certain families when you're dividing physical assets. And everyone's family has a different approach to this. And I've got to say, some of the situations are very collaborative and loving and could have some humor. Some families have had very different experiences where division of physical assets have well, I'll just say it, destroyed relationships, right, in families. So having some of that sorted out ahead of time, or having those conversations so everyone has the same expectations on the same page. You never know what's going to happen once you pass, but having some of those conversations up front might give you some peace of mind while you're living, and also for your loved ones. But I've got to say, there were some pretty funny stories that were shared as to how, family members interacted with each other or siblings when it came down to division of physical assets. So I've got to say, it's not all doom and gloom at the Death Cafe. I would not classify us as a bunch of morbid people who focus on death only. We're curious people, we're compassionate people, we're kind people, and we are trying to figure out, death as a part of life, I guess we'll say, right? I can't speak for everyone, but for myself, I would say, yeah, it brings some curiosity around that. And I also feel such a deep connection with these people where we are able to talk about some of these topics that people think about. It's on their minds, and they just don't feel they have that safe place to talk about it, right? Or sometimes it's too sensitive or emotional to speak with your immediate family or your loved ones. So it's nice to have this confidential space with other adults that you may not have those deep emotional connections to. So you can ask some of these questions bluntly and have some of these conversations without fear of hurting someone's feelings, or that type of thing, having a ripple effect through your family. So all that being said, if any of this sort of hits home for you, again, each month it's a total open agenda. Arifa and I do not have a presentation. We allow people to speak what's on their heart and mind. We are there as hosts for this event. The next one will be the third Wednesday in May, which I think is May 18th from 1 to 3 p.m. and we'll be online. So yeah, if you'd like to join us, just send us your name and email and we'll send you the Zoom meeting invite. Okay, so any questions ever, send us a message and I just hope you have a great day. Okay, take care.